Good afternoon on this glorious Monday. So as I mentioned yesterday, this week's Torah portion is the portion of Chukas. Chukas means something that's inexplicable. And the reason why this is the name of the portion is because the first mitzvah that we learn about in this week's Torah portion is the mitzvah of the red heifer, which is something that's beyond the human comprehension. That the Kohen would take the ashes of a red heifer and sprinkle it on someone who is impure, and the person who's impure becomes pure, but the Kohen becomes impure. And the rabbis say that all of the greatest sages and scholars tried to understand it, but God said, Chukah chakakti. This is beyond rationale, beyond understanding. Even Moses, the one who the Torah Moshe, the Torah is named for Moshe, the one who gave us the Torah and who understood the depth of everything, could not understand Zois Chukas HaTorah, the red heifer. And God says, Gzeira himi lefanai. It is a decree from me. Now, in general, in the mitzvot, we learn that there's three types of mitzvot. Mishpatim, which are the mitzvot that we would understand on our own. Don't murder, don't kill, don't steal, be modest, things like that. The edut, the mitzvot, that are like tefillin and Shabbos, that we would never understand on our own, but God gives us an explanation. He says, rest on Shabbat, because I rested from creating the world. Wrap tefillin because it is a bond, it's a sign between you and I. And then there's the chukim. There's the mitzvahs that are inexplicable. Of course, the red heifer is the one that's the ultimate, but there's many mitzvot like that. Even the laws of kosher, which we try to explain and say it's healthier and this, the Torah doesn't give us a reason. It's a chukah. It's something beyond our understanding. I was thinking about this a lot. We all watched in horror at the Glastonbury Festival, which took place this past weekend, where the band, Bob Vylan, got up and started chanting death to the IDF. And the whole place started chanting it. Now, death to the IDF. IDF stands for Israel Defense Force. Every single Israeli has to go to the army. So when you say death to the IDF, you're saying death to Israel. You're saying death to the Jewish people. You're saying death to the only ones that are there to defend the Jewish people from another Holocaust. And not only did Bob Vylan do this and not apologize for it, and in fact post afterwards that he's proud basically of what he did, but the BBC was broadcasting live this festival in Glastonbury, and the BBC did not cut it off. Today the BBC came out and said, in retrospect, they should have cut it off, yada yada, etc., etc. They didn't. Imagine if a guy got up there and said death to the blacks. Imagine if a guy got up there and said death to the Muslims. If they would for 1 second continue playing it. Yes, they apologized today, but they didn't cut it off mid-concert while it was happening. It just tells you how infested the world has become with anti-Semitism, with the tolerance of anti-Semitism. The Bob Vylans are animals. I don't expect any better from them. But the press, the news, the pundits, the politicians who allow this. And it made me think of the chukah, of that which is inexplicable. Because back in Genesis, when Esau and Jacob meet, Rashi tells us something about when Esau kisses his brother. He says, Halacha Esav Seina Yaakov. It's a law that Esau will always hate Jacob. And the rabbis say, why does it say halacha? Why does it say a law? Because in Judaism, laws don't change. And that's been the story. Ever since then, it comes in different formats, in different shades. It could be, first they say it's anti-Israel, they say it's morals. The Nazis were trying to protect their race and humanity. The Christians in the Crusades and the pogroms were saying because we killed Jesus. There's all these reasons. Every generation and every time, it comes formed in a different way, but it's all the same Jewish hate. The anti-Semitism is inexplicable, and it behooves us and the world to speak up and to stand up. Today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio banned and canceled the visa of Bob Vylan, who was supposed to come in November and December and have, I think, 24 or so concerts in America, one of them in Boston. And of course, tens of thousands of people would have came, even though he did what he did. because anti-Semitism doesn't mean anything to them. But freedom of speech for Americans doesn't excuse and doesn't make us have to give visas to people who spew hate and rhetoric. When people see what happened in Boulder, Colorado, in Washington, by Governor Shapiro's home, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens when people like the BBC allow and continue broadcasting live a concert where someone could get up and scream and chant death to the IDF and everyone joins in. So, of course, now all the anti-Semites will cry, what about free speech? And the Jewish lobby is bullying Bob Vylan. Really? They could say what they say. It's not going to change. But kudos to Marco Rubio and to the president and to this administration for saying enough is enough. You want to spew anti-Semitism? Stay in your country. Stay in Glastonbury. Don't come to America. God bless you. Have a great day. And let us stay strong and steadfast.